Hey everyone and welcome back. And I don't really do reactionary videos. I try not to. I try to keep a level head. I like to think I do. Try to keep it cool, be subjective, be very non-reactionary, because I feel like that's the right way to sort of analyse our performances this season and what's happening throughout the club. Maybe some can call it mature. I don't know. But either way, I do feel like because we got our first loss of the season in Serie A, it's time to reflect on the game that we saw. Certain things I'm kind of not concerned with, but kind of things we have to keep our eyes out in the future games. But nonetheless, I'm still quite cool as a cucumber, knowing that this side is on the right path, and just the game against Fiorentina is just one of them ones like what could have been if we went into it with the right mentality, or certain moments kind of went in our way. We didn't create, masters of our own downfall with certain mistakes, and really just going over that and just ways I can just see us, turning things around easily and with that bounce back ability that we all know that we have. So let's break things down of the Fiorentina game. So I'm sure we've all seen the Fiorentina game. It was a very weird game. We started off out the traps really poorly. They got their first goal from a horrendous mistake from Tatarusanu, and obviously you can kind of put some accountability on Gabbia when it comes to sort of him trying to box out Duncan and jabs the ball home through his legs. It was kind of embarrassing. And then we're having that wave of momentum, creating opportunities. Rafael Leao breaking the offside trap. Ibrahimovic with that header, which he has to put away. He just has to put it away. We don't take the chances. The momentum doesn't flip, and they get their second goal, a fantastic Saponara goal and a stroke of half time. And then the game in itself is much more harder. So once again, we're just creating situations harder for ourselves in the game. Second half starts off, Pioli does the trio substitution. He throws on Giroud, Junior Messias, and Florenzi for Salamakers, Brahim Diaz, and Kalulu. Hoping that's going to spark a sort of a difference to our offense and box more players into the area, get more crosses into the box. Obviously, Brahim Diaz was not having a good game nonetheless. Neither was Salamakers as well. And then they got their third goal with a fantastic Vlahovic goal. Done Gabbia with the offside trap. Got past Tatarusanu and buried it home. There's not much we can do about that against a very, very good striker in Serie A. And then from that point, I think it always lost. Well, not really. I kind of thought if we can get a goal in here soon, you never know what's going to happen. Excuse me. And Ibra did. Ibra got 2 goals in as many minutes, about 5 or 7 minutes, and you're kind of thinking, oh my God, 3-2, we're back in this game. There's 20 minutes to go. We can easily get another to at least equalise and bring a draw out of this game and keep our unbeaten record up. And then I just don't know what happened. The game went flat. Rafael Leao pulled out with a cramp. That lasted about 4 or 5 minutes. He had to come off for Krunic. That kind of killed our offense down the left side, which we'll get onto in a bit. And then Odriozola, the right back for Fiorentina, he went down a few times as well. That sort of it just took the sting out of the game, any momentum that we were potentially having of getting an equaliser gone. And it was killed off the moment until Hernandez just, unprofessionally tries dribbling the ball out rather than maybe passing it back to Gabbia or Tatarusanu to recycle possession, or even hooping the ball forward. He tries dribbling it out. You can see he looks tired, Teo. And it was a lazy mistake to happen. But nonetheless, it basically gifted them a 4th goal. And the game was pretty much done from that point, even though Ibra did kind of create another goal with a minute to go with the offside thing. It was just a little too late. It was a little too late. And it's gut-wrenching. It's disappointing that we got this first loss when, all things considered, we knew how many players were missing on the defensive end for Fiorentina. They did really well. I have to put my hands up to Fiorentina. They did really well considering the fact they were missing so many players, important players. Milinkovic, the goalkeeper, even the other 2 centre backs. They did fantastic. They did really well. But I just don't think we were cutthroat enough in attack, and we were mistake prone in defence. Which is something. This is my biggest issue. It's where's the conviction? Where's the we spoke about last season. It was mentioned towards the end of it. We've got to treat every game like a final, and I hear this a lot. Every game should be a final. Nonetheless, if it's not the last 5 games or the last 7 games or the last 2 games, whatever it is, every game should be a final, especially because we're in this Scudetto hunt. You know what we're working with here. You know the opportunity in front of you. You can't just go through the motions and think the result is going to happen just because we're the better side on paper, we have better individuals, whatever it may be. Everyone has to do their job and take this game home. And maybe it was apparent because certain players missing from our side, like Tomori on Calabria, Rebic, Mignon, you add them up, all of a sudden mistakes can appear and seep into the side. But the side we fielded, in my opinion, is still good enough to win. Let alone the players we have to rely upon off the bench. But we just, once again, masters of our own downfall. And it's just been too many times, especially defensively or in possession, where we've created goals for the opposition. It's really poor. Kessie with his penalty against Inter Milan, Ibrahimovic with his own goal against Bologna, the first goal, the fourth goal against Fiorentina. It's just, what are we doing in certain parts of possession? It's very nonchalant, it's very poor, it's very unprofessional. And I just want to see a bit more better from the players. And I'm hoping that they're going to learn from this, because to come away from these first 13 games with one loss, despite the fact there have been quite a lot of moments with individual mistakes and errors and unprofessionalism, it's good. It is very good. But nonetheless, we have to look at that right now and go, no more. We need to massively reduce this and obviously get us back to winning sides with a win next week against Sassuolo and what's going to be hopefully a convincing run of fixtures. Sassuolo at home, Genoa away, Salernitana at home. We have to pick up 9 points. We have to get this train going in the right direction. So we've spoken about the mistakes briefly. It's certainly something that needs to be ironed out. We've spoken about many times from the players. We can't pinpoint the people making the mistakes and say, no, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. It's a collective thing because everyone's doing it. It could be Ibra, it's Teo, it's Kessie, it's Gabbia. Everyone can make these mistakes, but we need to do as much as we can as a team. And you can't tell these players to not make mistakes. It needs to be them. They have to have that mentality, that winning killer mentality, to not do them as much as possible, because it is going to kill us in certain moments, especially as well when the attack aren't taking their chances. Ibra needs to bury that header away, which could change the momentum of the game. Rafael Leao, I love him. He's fantastic. He's a brilliant forward player. Kind of needs to work on that finishing. Just work on that finishing and you will probably be the best player in this league. The right side, Salamakers, he needs to improve a lot more. Of course he does. I just don't think there's an element of what he can offer us in the attacking phase, and that's where Maldini has to come up trumps in a month's time in January and bring us in a right-sided winger or a player that can take on players, because we need that diversity. We're just so left-side dependent, right, when it comes to scoring goals and creating opportunities, that the right side really is just it's pretty thin. It's pretty thin, and I'm Salamaker's biggest fan, but it's not looking too good for him right now. And Brahim Diaz as well against Fiorentina, not a good game. So we need options when they ain't clicking. And that's quite apparent right now. And I'm hoping that even if they have a good run of form in December, Maldini addresses that and brings those players in. Because just luck's not going in our side for injuries. Macias has pretty much been out for the whole season. I'm not judging him as well. I'm not saying he's crap or anything like that. But it's just not... Things aren't going quite well for the right side of attack or even central attacking midfielder. So I'd rather we address it, bring a player in that, even if they ain't ticking still, it's another option, a very good option that can give us diversity. Because I think as the season goes on, teams are going to just figure out that we just, maybe just put 2 on Rafael Leao, or just don't worry about the right side, and they're not going to create anything. They're not going to take their chances, and they're not going to score goals. Who knows? But we certainly need to address that. I will say as well, look, bringing it back to choices from the coach and selection. He made the trio of substitutions at half-time. Everyone's talking about Gabbia. Obviously, he has not put himself in the best sort of limelight after that game finished. The mistake on the first. He just wasn't convincing. Me, personally, I understand a bit of rustiness on the first goal. Beating on the offside trap against Vlahovic, who's fantastic. It's more the possession phases that really annoyed me. When he got the ball at left centre-back, he just looked like receiving it it looked like Kalulu when he played against Torino at left back. His body positioning was all wrong, and it just wasted wasted about half an hour of the game, near enough the first half, of him just playing it so safe, playing it back to Tata or back to Kaya or to Tonali. It was basically just saying, I don't really want the ball. I don't really have any intention of progressing the ball forward to the left back or to Rafael Leao or whoever it may be, Brahim Diaz. It was no confidence with him in possession, and that was quite apparent. And it was kind of disappointing from Gabbia, because I kind of thought this was a moment for him. These moments aren't going to come very often, because you have 3 defenders ahead of you who are very good, and more often than not always fit. And it was a game that he's got to chalk off as not a great one. So I'm kind of just disappointed in that one, but disappointed nonetheless over the whole performance. And I mean, we can sit here and we can just dissect this game, but I'm just going to say the difference between this first loss in Serie A this season to the first loss from last season and how that month went. And we got to look back to the Juventus loss January 2021. Juventus lost, the Atalanta lost 3-0, the Inter lost 3-0, the Spezia lost 2-0. You know, we were unconvincing in those games, and the opponents were very convincing. They brushed us off the park. This wasn't that sort of game against Fiorentina. I feel like in this case, we were the masters of our own downfall, and easily, if we play this game again, we could probably come out with a win, or certainly at least a draw. But we didn't. We were the masters of our own downfall. We created a loss for ourselves, to be honest. It wasn't, the opponent was just too good or anything like that. No, it was down on us. It was down on us. So that's enough for me to think that we can easily turn this around. We definitely have the bounce back ability to do so. We definitely have the never say die mentality as well. It was kind of like seeping into that game as well. And like I said, the fixture's coming up. There's enough room there for us to turn this around and turn that any fear or seeds of doubt away. So I'm very convinced we're still on the right trajectory, but it's going to take a bit of luck. It's going to take certain moves in January, and you never know what's going to happen. I still think we're on the right course. We're certainly on the right course, but we need to turn this around quickly, and that's going to mean a win against Sassuolo next weekend. So yeah, guys, we're going to wrap things up here today. Just really disappointed about the Fiorentina game. I felt like that was a win for the taking. Very convinced we were going to get it with everything taken into account. It just wasn't to be, and I'm hoping we bounce back quick. I'm very convinced we will, and that's going to include hopefully a win against Sassuolo at home next weekend. If you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to Sempre Milan, Sempre Milan TV, Sempre Milan channel on Twitter, all the socials. Drop a like if you're liking what you're seeing. Drop some comments in about the Fiorentina game if you have any opinions or any thoughts about it. If you haven't already as well, please follow my Twitter as well, because I might be doing a giveaway soon. And I've got a certain AC Milan polo from the 2011-2012 season. I put it out on my Twitter last week if people were interested in maybe me doing a giveaway for it. This is it here. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled if you haven't already. Please follow. Until next time, guys. Forza Milan.